Anybody else? Anybody else?
I have a couple of questions. Yeah. We were at the meeting of the Planning Commission on September 25th, and during that meeting, I think one of the members, I think it was Barb Vanderhoff, mentioned to Donna some negotiations for a donation to the town by Cooley Frack. And it was put off, and they said they'd discuss it later in the meeting. Didn't come up again. I'm wondering what the status of that is now.
There's no ongoing conversation about any donations for the town of Franklin.
Well, I think several of us heard that comment. I think you were here.
It might have been something that somebody threw up, but there's nothing going on between Cooley Frack and the town of Franklin for any donations. We're not allowed to generate revenue.
Barb's just, she's one of the 7 members on the committee, and
Right.
she can make any suggestions she wants.
Well, it didn't sound like a suggestion. It sounded like it was an ongoing action.
Oh, it is not.
It is not.
I don't know, the plan commission is there just to make recommendations to the town board, and that was never a formal recommendation, it was never brought to the board, so, yeah, I'm sure she brought it up in a discussion, but it was not something presented to the board.
No, I know it wasn't presented to the
No.
board. It came out in the planning commission meeting.
Yeah, a lot of discussion happens there. That's what it's all about, so they can come to
There wasn't any
recommendations.
discussion. She mentioned it, and then it was shushed, and it never came back, although you said it would.
Well, it hasn't. So what's
No,
the point?
it should have been discussed further in the meeting, I think.
We're not allowed to generate revenue. It was a mute issue. It was brought up by somebody, and they
It
were
wasn't
told that
mute at
we're...
all, because it came up in the meeting, and several of us heard it.
Okay, that's fine.
And I'm just asking for an explanation.
It won't go anyplace with the
It's- yeah,
plan
it's not
commission
going
anyway. It has not been brought to the town board.
And your
Okay.
next question?
Yeah, I was wondering then, do any of you on the board or on the planning commission have any agreements, donations, incentives, job offers, anything going on in negotiation with Cooley Frack at this time?
No?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not, and you will vouch for that.
Yeah, sure.
And that's either in official or in personal capacity.
We're on tape.
Right there on tape.
Okay. That's good.
And no, my farm has not been sold to anyone. Want that to be qualified right now.
Is it available?
No one
Is
has
it available?
approached me about buying, nor have I approached anyone about selling. So
Is it available,
please
Dave?
stop that one.
The other question I had was regarding the moratorium. The moratorium says that it'll allow the town of Franklin or the planning commission time to study the possible impacts that non-metallic mining operations and processing plants related to non-metallic mining may have on the health, safety, welfare of the residents of the town, including air quality, water quality, potential impact to infrastructure, property values, and the local economy. I guess, has there been any report generated by the planning commission about these issues for the people of the town to take a look at?
No, there has not.
Will there be?
A formal report will not be submitted. No, it's not in the plan.
Well, that was why the moratorium was put in place, so that the study could be done. Did you do any study?
That's an excerpt, and if you read the entire moratorium, and Tom, you can
I have, I've read it.
attest to that too, that the moratorium is in place to give the town of Franklin time to get their ordinances in place.
Well, it actually says that it lets the residents know something about these impacts. Did you do any work on any of that?
Oh, sure, the comprehensive plan is what we used, and that was voted on by the town of, Dave, you were a member of the plan commission. Tom, you were all for the, land use.
Well, yeah, the plan commission, the smart growth plan has been in place for quite a while. But what I'm talking about is...
It was formalized in 2010, yeah. And
Right,
that's
so
what
2
we
years,
used.
2 years.
Right,
So what I'm
that's-
asking though, as far as the moratorium, basically charging you with doing these studies, did you do them, is what I'm asking you?
And I don't believe it gives us a directive to do those studies.
Well,
According to attorney, we
I think
used
it does, actually. I mean, it's pretty explicit. Time to study.
Yeah, and that's correct, and we've been working on them for years, doing research, over a year, doing the research and using the, future land use
I
information.
guess I didn't hear anything about some of these issues as far as property values, air quality, water quality. I haven't seen anything about that as far as your work.
No
Did you do
studies.
anything?
No studies. No.
So it wasn't done, is what you're saying?
We chose not to at this time, yeah, that's correct. There's nothing in there to do that.
Well, it's the
There's-
first
there's
part
no
of the
funding.
moratorium, it basically says that.
Well, I believe that you're splitting hairs because that moratorium is in place to give the town of Franklin an opportunity to create their ordinances, and that has been done.
Well, it
And
was
they've all
time to
been
study these
submitted.
impacts, actually, is what it was about. But we
No,
don't know what the
you're-
potential impacts are. I mean, there's been no information generated by the planning commission, as far as I could tell. Basically, you worked on that document that Mr. Millis gave you for 10 months, and then you sent it back to him, he rewrote it and sent it back, and it was adopted. That was it.
Well, there's a lot more involved than that.
Well, you
There really
crossed
is.
some-
I mean, we worked with a lot of different individuals and pulled a lot of information
Well, I
from
attended many of
legal.
your meetings, Donna, and I mean, a lot of it was just,
Yeah, I think
you know.
you did the last 3 months,
No,
maybe
about the
3
last
meetings?
5, yeah.
Yeah, maybe the last 3 meetings,
So you
sure.
basically were dealing with,
And I guess I'm not even gonna, I'm not gonna split hairs.
Well, I'm not
You know,
splitting
the
hairs, I just
decisions
read
are
you the
done.
language of the moratorium, and I'm asking if you have any results for your studies, and you're telling me, no, you do not.
I'm gonna say we did not run any studies, but we do have results. Our ordinances are in place.
So what effect will it have on property values near the mine?
How can anyone answer that till that mine is up and running? How can anyone answer
Well,
that?
do this-
What specific mine were you referring to?
The one that potentially could go in here on
The
Workman
one
Ridge.
that's not been approved?
Right.
I don't know how anyone could
They have
even
an
address
environmental
that.
impact study that,
No, it's not an
It's
environmental
not an
impact study, we're
non-existent
talking
mine.
about
But water quality and all that's in
valuation.
it.
We're talking about valuation.
but
There are other
your
mines
comment,
you-
your comment, Tom, is
There are other mines
how
you
could
can
we,
check.
how could we possibly take 36 square miles of Franklin Township
No.
and analyze every acre of it for everything you
No,
decide?
that's not what I'm saying. I'm
That's
saying,
what you
look
just
at,
read.
looking
That's
at
what you just read.
I'm just saying,
Until we actually have a mine
comparables,
proposed.
look at comparables
approved,
and
then we
come
can
up
see
with
that.
some information, that's all.
Okay?
You
All
are the
36
planning
square
commission.
miles.
Yeah, do comparables,
All
that's
36
all.
square miles.
No, comparables of other mines, that's all you need to do, collect the information.
For what, 36 square miles?
No, for other mine sites, active ones.
Well,
There is no active mine site.
so you're saying
Yeah.
the
Oh, there's all
nine sites
kinds
in
of them, all
Wyoming
of, there's
County?
20 of them
In
in
was
not
built
in our
Trumbull
up
County.
here.
township.
There's,
So we-
well, you don't
what do
have
you
to
want us to
study in
study
our
now?
township,
What do you want us to study?
the ones in Trumbull County, the ones in Eau Claire County, comparables, that's
So
what I'm
you-
talking
So you
about.
would agree then if they have approved a mine over in Trumbull County, that would make it right to approve it here?
No, I'm just going for
That'd be
comparable
comparable, right?
values, that's
I
all.
don't think
I'm
you wanna
looking
say
for.
that,
That's
Tom.
what appraisers are, that's what they do, they
Okay.
look for
But I don't think
comparables.
you wanna say what you just said.
I didn't say anything, I asked you to
Okay.
do studies, and you
Okay.
haven't done them, that's all I'm saying.
I can say in the town of Preston, a sand mine was approved, similar topography. I guess that means we should approve.
No, that has
Any mine
nothing to
here?
do with approving anything.
Okay?
We're talking about property values of adjacent property, that's all.
For every acre of 36 square miles.
No, adjacent property.
The
They're
kind
not all
of study
adjacent,
that Tom
Dave.
is talking about is pretty standard on any type of industrial development anywhere where people live.
We can
course
find
it
It's,
similar
it's not
townships,
a, it's just a
topography
study
anywhere
to
in the
see,
state. They've approved mines, they've disapproved mines. Is that what you're
It's not a
saying?
matter of approval, Dave, I'm just looking for comparables on property value,
Okay.
plus the air and water quality studies. What did you do?
The plan commission has nothing that they're working on related to that.
I understand that, I
And
guess
Nothing.
that's.
we'll leave that at that. Do you have another question, Tom?
No, I don't think so, I think, I have questions, but I don't think they're gonna be answered here.
I have a question.
Chris?
I was talking with the DNR about, what issue with me is the quality of the water. Will it be affected? And the DNR really doesn't have studies yet on the mines for the water quality yet. On the other side of the state, where the mines have been established a little bit longer, where they are cleaning the sand, they're having problems with, you said that name of that stuff to clean the water, clear the water.
Flocculants.
Flocculant. They are finding flocculant, I gotta say that right in my voice, in the aquifer. They haven't done studies with that over here where they're cleaning the sand and using that. That doesn't mean it's not happening, they just haven't studied it yet. And to me, that's serious because once it's there, it's there. And it's too late to stop it because now it's in the water table. And they're having that problem in Green Bay area, but around here, the mines are not. Now, I talked with Badger Mining, and Badger Mining has taken extra steps to do it right. More cost involved, but they said that, what they do, any water they spray on their sand, either keeping it from the, blowing, anything, is contained in their land area to be reused and recycled. The problem, they said that they are spraying, cleaning it without containing the water. Water tables do go down because they use so much volume of water when they spray them. If they don't contain that and let it run back into the ground, that's where you have a problem with the aquifer being, because now you've got lower levels of grade, and the water is going quicker to the aquifer. And so Badger does keep it all, so they're not lowering the water tables in the residents around the area. They're keeping it and reusing it. So it's the self-contained type thing, which is a good idea, but most small outfits can't afford to do stuff like that. So there's more of a risk of having the water table contain some of the chemicals and whatever that gets washed through the sand down into the water.